Hi there. This is StarMan coming at you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And welcome to my channel, my YouTube channel, which I never thought I'd make. So, on that particular point, let me get this out of the way straight away. I am not a YouTube personality. I didn't even want to be on YouTube. The only reason I'm on here is because Flash is being discontinued. I used to have my software demos on Flash. I recorded them all over the past 10 years. And as you know, that is being phased out. Adobe has discontinued it and browsers have blocked it. So can't use Flash anymore. So I have no choice now. And originally, the reason why is because I didn't need to be worldwide. I don't want strangers commenting and making slurs against my work or whatever. It's not necessary because all that people need to do is see the training videos that I have to help them play the game better, and that's it. That's all I wanted, but don't really have a choice now, so here I am. So please, no comments. Hey, your lighting sucks. Yeah, I know. I've got a lamp here and a lamp over there, and again, I don't have an actual studio, and I don't want to be monetized. I don't need to make any money off this. I have a job, so it's nothing any of that. Like, I'm not trying to take the world by storm on YouTube. That was never my intent. Anyway, let's get to the matter at hand. It all started for me back on November 28th, 1981, almost 40 years ago as I record this. It's January 2021. And for my 14th birthday, that's what that day was, I got a box, a gift from my mom, and I opened it and I saw this. Hopefully that shows up on camera. Well, and it's actually on my shirt too, as you can see. And I said, "Whoa, what's this? Oh yeah, Dungeons and Dragons." By that point, I can't remember if it was before then or after that. I had read an article about this, and it sounded really amazing. I even remember what the sample scenario was in that article. A dwarf goes up to a giant spider and plunges his dagger into it and stuff like that. Oh, wow, this sounds amazing, right? So very cool, and that's not the only thing I have. I also have like the back panel still. I have the DM screen as well. I won't bore you with all this memorabilia, but I do have the rule book too still. So how cool is that? Yeah, again, blew the dust off those and did a trip down memory lane, seeing all the old rules and stuff like that. Very cool. Little did I realize it would turn into a 4 decade obsession. I was looking at it in school, the Keeping the Borderlands, which I also still have, but it's lost somewhere up in all my junk. Um, and I was looking at it in school in like Christmas of '81, and a buddy comes up behind me and says, "Oh, Dungeons and Dragons! Hey, whose is that?" I said, "Mine. I just got it for my birthday." And we started talking with a couple of other friends, and one guy, his best friend, um, knew about the game and said, "Yeah, we should try playing this." And we had a lot of fun. We started playing early next year in '82, and I think 2 years later in '84 we finally disbanded. You know how that story goes. I was the geek; they were the cool crowd, so they went off, to meet girls and go skiing and whatever the cool crowd does. I don't know. I'm not so. Uh, but we stopped playing. But we had a lot of fun. We played Tomb of Horrors, which is the legendary grinder that every D&D player dreads, and things like Hidden Shrine of Tomoe-kan, which is one of my personal favorites, and all kinds of stuff. I wrote my own adventures too. But again, we stopped, and that was a devastating day for me. I love the game, and it didn't look like I was going to play again. And years passed, and believe it or not, from an unlikely source, my sister, of all people, said, "Hey, why don't the two of you teach me how to play?" Says to my brother and I, who my brother was just a little guy back then, of course, and he watched my friends and I play. So we said okay, and we actually tried playing. I even remember the day. It was the day Princess Diana was killed. Sadly enough, because I remember our dad actually walking in while we were playing and saying, "Yeah, she's gone." So we started then, and word got around. Um, my brother's wife, uh, her girlfriend had a boyfriend. I know that's convoluted. That played, and so the three of us started playing, and we played for a few years and got a few more players, like his brother as well, and a couple of our friends, and played first edition all the way up to fourth, and had a great time. Uh, Sadly, there was some personality conflicts between myself and another guy, and that kind of divided the group. What further divided it was VTTs. First, we started using Shared View and Dungini, two pretty old programs, together, and that worked out quite well. But then we soon found out about something called Battlegrounds RPG, which has gone out of business, sadly. And I even bought a license for it. And so I was frustrated when I found this new program called MapTool. I said, "Hey guys, there's this thing called MapTool. Maybe we should look into that." And it turned out to be a waste of money for the Battlegrounds RPG license, because the group decided, yeah, we're going with this map tool. It looks pretty cool. So we started using that. And I'm a programmer by trade. I studied computer science in university. So I noticed MapTool has a programming language. And by that time, we were up to fourth edition. And I said, I looked at their website and I noticed there was a number of other programmers that had made fourth edition frameworks. A framework is a program that runs on top of MapTool, just like Microsoft Word runs on top of Windows. So, because MapTool is just a base program, it's just a VTT. It's not a D&D specific program, although a lot of D&D players use it. So, yeah, so that's what ended up happening. I got a hold of the website, and the programming language is called MapTool Script. And I started dabbling with it. I said, well, this looks pretty cool. And because why not? I know Java, C, C++, and lots of different programs like Fortran and Pascal I started off with. And I put that knowledge to use. And I started, it's funny, actually years earlier with my first group of friends, actually after that, just for the fun of it, on the Apple IIe AppleSoft Basic platform, I actually wrote a basic framework. And is pretty primitive, as you can well imagine. But anyway, that was my first getting my feet wet. And then I made a whole framework in fourth edition. Now, remember those personality conflicts I told you about? That kind of split our group in two. One group said, "Oh, we really like this framework online called Rumble." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. You guys look at that. And meanwhile, I'll continue writing my framework." And that went on. And that half of the group got more and more perplexed. Like, dude, why are you still... We're going to use Rumble. Like, stop wasting your time making your own thing. I said, well, it's more just for my amusement, for an exercise, so I understand what Rumble went through when writing his framework. And I could even improve Rumble's framework, which I did, by the way, just a little bit here and there. And sadly, the personality conflicts just... I'll spare you the details, got to a head, and we started arguing, and we voted, and they said to me, "Listen, we've chosen Rumble." And this is funny. 3 out of 6 of us chose Rumble, so we're the majority. That's what they told us. Wow, your framework choosing skills are as good as your math skills, guys. 3 out of 6 is not a majority. That's what we call half. So one of them said, "Oh, well, that guy on your side doesn't get a vote because he doesn't participate in an online discussion forum." I said, "Okay, whatever. Who died and made you God," was my response to that. But I said, fine, I'll look at this Rumble because I hadn't up to that point. I looked at it and I was horrified. It was, it looked good. I guess the interface was really good, but it didn't do anything. Okay, fine. It tracked hit points and it tracked conditions like dazed and stunned and what have you. So, but that's about it. It did have one or two other semi interesting things, but that's it. Other than its really pretty framework or interface, uh, that was it. So I said, yeah, guys, compared to all the things my system can do, not impressed. So no. And my brother, after playing with them for a bit, came to the same conclusion, and we said, you know what, guys, later. You want to waste your time? Go ahead. If any of this is not making any sense to you, let me use a historical example. And I'm not a historian, so yeah, don't jump down my throat in the comments and say, no, no, Dave, that's not the way it went back in the 1800s. But when Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, I would imagine there would have been a few people who were upset because they had invested all this money on telegraphs and training on Morse code, going dot dash dot 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 dash dot dash and learning all that stuff. And along comes this guy with a invention that makes that obsolete. But it's not the same situation because we were at the same level at the time. Yes, I have made Rumble obsolete. It doesn't make any sense to use Rumble when mine is so much easier to use and does so much more and costs nothing. And that's true to this day and beyond. So that was the situation. And for whatever reason, they didn't care. Our groups diverged. Again, we went our separate ways. I made my own group under my own system, and they did theirs. And funny outcome there. They started arguing and fighting because they couldn't get it to work properly. Because Rumble, again, to recap, there's three things you have to know about Rumble. It's bug infested, it's lag ridden, and it does nothing. You can fit Rumble's feature set on the back of a postage stamp. And one of the guys that left to do Rumble said something really stupid. He said, well, I'm happy it does less. That way it feels less like a video game. My system doesn't feel like a video game. Not to us. We have a lot of fun. I have two groups now. We play, we have fun. We don't wrestle with the framework and struggle with getting it to work properly. So that's pretty much what happened there. Anyway, when I was starting developing my framework, I called it the macro toolbox. And I gave the token, which had all my code on it, a wizard image. And my brother kept confusing that with an enemy. And he said, listen, this is too confusing. Get rid of that wizard and use this. And he knew I liked Doctor Who. So he gave me an image of the Doctor Who's TARDIS and said, here, use this instead. And I did. I changed the wizard to the TARDIS. And I said, wait a second. That's not a macro toolbox anymore. It's a macro police box. Play on words there. And the name stuck. Even though it doesn't have anything to do with Dungeons and Dragons. That's how the name came about. And the rest, as they say, is history. I started in June of 2010, I believe, and published it on the rptools.net site in late 2011. By then, it was good enough to be considered prime time, at least usable. And again, been doing it ever since, and here we are today. So to explain a bit more, again, I'm as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not a YouTube personality. I don't expect to make any money off this monetizing. It's I just wanted to explain my software. That's it. It's nothing super amazing. So that's it. I hope you go through my videos and it enlightens you a bit, even if you're not using Map Tool, even if you're not using uh, even playing D&D 4E. Then go through it, and if you like what you see and you like D&D, then try it out. Yes, I know, guys. I know D&D 5e is all the rage right now. 95% of people are playing it. I don't want to get into that discussion, guys. Like, don't flood the comments saying, "Hey, dude, nobody plays 4th edition. 4th edition sucks. It's all, it's an MMO, and it was, Wizards of the Coast attempt at, making it more like a video game." I don't care. Okay, you don't like 4th edition? That's fine. That's your thing. You like 5th edition or 3.5 or Pathfinder? More power to you. Go ahead and play that. I like it. My 2 groups like it. That's all that matters to me. Being a YouTube sensation doesn't matter to me. Okay, that's why I didn't come on to this platform to begin with. That's why I kept it at Flash, but that's not an option anymore, like I said. So, and I also don't want to get into talking about other VTTs like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds and Foundry, although I've liked some of them. They look pretty cool. But again, my system is absolutely free. So and it does more. It just does. If you think Fantasy Grounds has more automation than my system, you are wrong. You can take the 4th edition support in Fantasy Grounds, multiply it by about 10,000, and you wouldn't even start to get close to what I have accomplished with respect to automation. You do not need a pad and paper and say, okay, I've dazed that monster until the end of my next turn, and things like, oh well, you got to do endless data entry like you did with Rumble. He did a little bit. You could paste in a character summary from Character Builder, but really, 90% of the configuration with Rumble is manual. It's tedious, boring, time consuming. That's the main thing. Crap that you have to go through before you can have fun playing it. And when you do, Rumble does nothing. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, and again, go through my videos, and if you have any questions, then feel free to comment, but I'd much prefer that you go through my website and you go to the reporting problems. I'll put a link in the description on how to do that. All right, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Have any trouble with my framework, I'll be happy to answer those questions too. Thanks very much.